What's up, guys? It's your boy Cutting Up with Dan. Got a few tips for y'all today. Anybody out there that's a barber, a new barber, thinking about being a barber, I just got a few tips I'm going to give y'all on how to be successful and have longevity in this game. Number one is develop your skills the best you can. And the way to do this is you got to cut hair. Your skills are limited. When you go to barber school, they teach you how to pass the test. When you get in the barber shop, now you got to face the real world. A lot of people out here, they don't want anybody in their head, and they not fit to pay you a premium price for mediocre service. So you got to understand that when you getting in this game. So spend as much time as you can cutting hair, perfect fading, perfect clipper over comb, perfect scissors over comb. You need to do all of these things as much as possible. So whenever you get fully booked and you have these situations arise where you get a new customer and you going by appointments, you don't back all your appointments up because you all of a sudden run into something you don't know how to do and you in over your head. Learn what the blades and the guards do on different textures of hair. Why this is important is because your blades and your guards, they don't do the same thing on every texture of hair. You have certain textures where if you put a 0.5 guard on, it'll damn near ball them. So you can't put that on everybody's head. And then you might run across somebody with some real thick hair where you can put that 0.5 guard on and it'll give them some hella waves. So you got to know what these guards and what these blades will do on different types and different textures of hair, and that's what you want to master. You got to also stay up on the trends, stay up on the styles. In this industry, styles and trends are always changing. So one thing that I do to stay up on things is watch tutorials on YouTube. YouTube is full of tutorials, full of haircut instructional videos, full of new styles. I've been cutting hair since I had my license since 2000. So back then people was rocking bald fades. Then it went to the tapers. Then people started getting mohawks. I remember when mohawks came out, a lot of barbers fell off because they decided they wasn't gonna do mohawks. Well, if you don't do the mohawk, then that's less money in your pocket. So that's why it's important to stay up on styles and trends. And now we even got the mullets coming back. We got the Edgar haircuts. You got to learn and stay in tune with what's going on. Also, another tip is to become as consistent as possible. Why do you want to become as consistent as possible? Because it's going to help you retain your clientele. It's for customer retention. If somebody sits in my chair and give me $45 for a haircut one time, that's cool. But if I can get them to sit in my chair and give me $45 for a haircut every week or every other week, that's even better. That's the goal. The goal is to be fully booked. I don't ever want to be in the barbershop and be sitting in my chair. When the customer comes back to you, that's the best compliment that someone can give you. Also, you got to look at that client like they're a guaranteed advertisement. When you do that haircut on their head, you want them to walk around and somebody to say, man, who cut your hair? That's how you going to build your clientele. That's how you going to get that appointment book full. So always be thinking like that. Another thing is to build rapport with your clients. I done seen barbers have arguments with new customers over some politics, over religion, over some social media, over things that's on the news. You can't be arguing with your customer. That's a potential repeat customer. If their first experience with you is an argument or a confrontation, more likely they're not coming back to you. I don't care how good you cut. Another thing is to remember your clients' likes and dislikes. A client may like one thing and you get another customer in your chair and all of a sudden that client don't like that thing. I used to have a guy, for example, when I put the alcohol on him at the end of the haircut, he told me straight up, hey man, can you do my goatee first? I don't want you to go around my head and then put it in my face. So I had to put that in my memory bank. So every time he sat in my chair, I remembered to go around his goatee and then put the alcohol around his head. So, and that's another technique that I learned that also helped me with other customers. Another thing that you have to do, and a lot of barbers struggle with this because you go to school and then you get out of school, or you became a barber because you wanted to work for yourself. Look, man, y'all got to look at y'all customers as if they're your boss. people always say, "Oh man, you lucky, you work for yourself," and I'm like, man, you go to work and you got one boss. I got 100 bosses. So every time somebody sit in my chair for 30, 40 minutes, however long it's taking me, they are my boss for that time because they telling me what to do. They telling me how they want their haircut. I'm servicing them. So I'm not telling them what kind of haircut I'm gonna give them. I'm asking them how they want their haircut. So when they tell me, I gotta pay attention and put it in my head that that's what I'm finna get this person. So you are your own boss and you are in control of when you work, the time you work, all of that type of thing. But you're not in control. That person is telling you what to do. You got to get them what they want to provide that person with a good quality, excellent service. Also, another thing, young barbers, is you need to price your services competitively. And what I mean by that, you cannot just step in the barbershop, man, and start charging what a barber that's been cutting hair for 5 years, for 10 years, for 15 years is charging. Because you don't have that kind of experience. Why experience is so important? Because if you mess up, you may not necessarily know how to get yourself out of that hole. Everybody out here can cut hair for Instagram, can cut hair, make these videos on YouTube, but a real life barbershop setting, you constantly cutting hair. There's gonna be a time where you mess up and you can't get yourself out of the hole. Your prices need to reflect your experience. It's okay to charge a lower price. It's okay to run specials. If you sitting in the barbershop and you not cutting no hair, that's a problem. It's okay to give $5 off, to give $10 off. Hell, when I first started, I used to tell the youngsters, like in middle school and high school, to bring 2 friends. If they bring me 2 new customers, I give them a free haircut. And that's how I built up my clientele. And that was back in like I said, in 2000, 2001. I mean, I'm ranking it in because I'm telling them to bring me 2 people, bring me 2 people, bring me 2 people. Yeah, I'm cutting 3 heads for the price of 2, but I'm still winning because I wouldn't have been doing anything. One last thing, and this is where I messed up when I was young. Set aside time to track your growth and your profit and loss. And what I mean by this is, why you want to track your growth is tracking your growth will let you know when it's time to move your prices. If you track your growth, and you only have so much time in a day as a barber. If you set aside 8 hours to cut hair, you set aside 10 hours to cut hair. You can only cut so many heads. Put these practices in a habit. Over time, you're gonna have, in say 3 to 6 months, all of a sudden now, on Friday and Saturday, you fully booked. You can't take any more people because you got more people than time. This is where strategically going up on your prices matter. So what you want to do is you want to go up incrementally, maybe even just on Friday and Saturday starting out, and start charging a higher price, because now you want to reduce some of that overage on people. So you can start encouraging your customers to come in on Tuesday, to come in on Wednesday, to come in on Thursday. Like, hey man, I'm gonna have to go up on Friday and Saturday, but on these days I'm gonna charge regular prices. That may encourage a couple of people to. Some people are off and they just at home chilling. They just like coming to the barbershop on Friday. They might just say, oh man, I can come in on Thursday. So when you get in the barber game, man, it's a lot of things that you got to learn. But I would say most importantly is work on your craft, stay up on trends, become consistent, remember your clients' likes and dislikes, and price your services competitively. And also I add that in to set aside time to track your growth and your profit and loss. Keeping up with your profit and loss will become very important as a barber when it comes to doing your taxes and when it's time to buy something, or if you want to grow and eventually open up your own shop. But that's another video for another day. Until the next one, YouTube, peace.